Hey, Stoney here with another game of Mechabellum. So FANG carry seems to be all the rage these days, so these two players decided to go FANG carry against each other. And in a mirror matchup where both players go FANG carry, who will win? Well, to find out, let's jump into the game. At the bottom here, we have Alex Moven. He is playing as a speed spec. Already, I'm loving his starting up card if he decided to go with FANG carry. Fans are notoriously slow, moving only at 6 meters per second. So with the speed spec, it's going to bump it up by 50% up to 9 meters per second. So very good card. And he's up against Poi, and Poi. I'm just going to say that once. So Poi is playing as a supply specialist. Now, looking at the starting units, we have Steel Balls Fangs versus Tarantula Marksman, and of course, a couple units of Fangs. When you're up against a Fang mirror matchup, you want to have your Fangs positioned horizontally. This allows the Fangs to all fire at the same time, eliminating some of your opponent's units a little bit faster. I think I'm liking Moven's board a lot more than Poise. I think these steel balls, right now, their only purpose to serve as a bit of a tank. So it's going to move forward, it's going to absorb all this damage. And the purpose for that is going to allow the fans to take the credit of the kills and therefore allowing them to level up a little bit faster. It is very important when you're playing carry fans to set up your board to give the fans the opportunity to kill units early on. Otherwise, starting at round 4, if you still don't have level fans, you're going to be in a world of trouble because chances are they'll never kill any of those level units from your opponent's board. Alright, round 2. Let's take a look at the fans. Well, actually, before we do, let's talk about the cards real quick. I think the only two viable options is either Missile Strike or Haste Module. I think Missile Strike is going to remove at least a squad of chaff, or in this case for Moven, you can actually target right here, getting rid of 2 marksmen, unless Poi decided to shield it, which he did. But instead, Moven decided to take the photon coating on the steel balls. So the reason we did photon is because we wanted to have the steel balls to tank a little bit longer, allowing the fans to get even more damage onto the opponent's unit. So Poi decided to take the haste module with the increased damage and also a bit of increased speed for the tarantula, and then photon on these steel balls. Range went down for these fans, so that's going to allow the fans, especially the one in the middle, to clear out the fans that's coming in on the left hand side. Now we're going to click on the fans here. So this squad here is almost leveled, and if we can bring down this tarantula, it's almost guaranteed to level. Nope, just a little bit more to get leveled. The one in the middle, close. The one on the side was freshly brought to the field. So we got 2 fans that are close to leveling. And let's see if we're able to bring down the shield. And I think that's going to give them some very juicy experience. Alright, the shield is down. And no, just a little short on that experience. So one more round and we're going to have 2 squads of level 2 fans coming from Moven's board. And this pack of fans actually did surprisingly well, getting the tower and an additional marksman. So surprisingly, the fang that were brought onto the board the latest is the one that gets leveled first. Another photon coating went down, but in this case, Amcore is just too irresistible, right? If you're going Fang carry, if you get an Amcore on a Fang, that is just too good to ignore. I'm going to say it's probably going to be the Amcore unless he really wants to protect these balls. And it looks like he is. So it's going to be heavy armor on one ball, photon on the other one, instead of additional damage on the Fangs. So Poi continues to deploy his fans now with range in this vertical configuration, and I have to disagree with that, because what will happen, as you can see right away, is that this fan right here is going to start shaving off the top of these fans, therefore reducing its overall damage output. So if you're having a fan mirror match, make sure you have them horizontally. Only do it vertically if you're using the units for chaff instead of carry units. One exception to the rule is when you're positioning sledgehammers. So a sledgehammer, due to its low firing rate, when you put them vertically, it can actually clear chaff a lot more efficient than if you were horizontally, because it prevents the sledgehammers to fire at the same chaff multiple times. All right, a couple crawlers were added from the poise side. No level on this level 1 fan. Curious. I was almost certain that it's going to get a level, because if you're going to go fan carry, the sooner you can level those fans, the better. And with the level, I think the fan was probably able to defend itself against these crawlers. A very interesting decision there. The steel balls continues to wreak havoc on poise board. This one has the heavy armor on it, but it looks like it may not be able to win the round for him simply because of the numerous fans left onto poise board. And of course, he is going to get one more marksman, and that's going to be the end of these steel balls. So when you're up against fan carry, what do you do, right? A lot of players might just think, okay, initially I want to have units like Mustangs, which are being dropped here, or units like Stormcrawlers. They're both excellent against fans. I don't think anyone's going to pick Wasp here, and I don't think anyone's going to pick Sabretooth, but just as the same point took the Sabretooth, which is very strange because he is going up against ranged fangs and steel balls. Sabretooth is not really good for either. I think he is overestimating the power of the steel balls in this competition and underestimating what's really happening here. When you see units like this, especially multiple fans, more fans than what they're supposed to look like when they're using just as carry, as chaff, you have to be very scared. Mustang would have been a far better decision, not only because your opponent's going to carry fans, but also because the fans are positioned so forward, right? So if you have Mustangs with range, you're going to shave off at least the initial 4 squads of fangs, allowing your Mustang to contribute to the rest of the board. So a big mistake here by Poi to choose the Sabretooth, ignoring what's actually happening onto the board. And I forgot to mention, I think the MMR for this game is around 15 to 1600. So if you're at that MMR range and you're constantly being overwhelmed by chaff, right, next time just take a look at your unit decisions. In this case, there is no reason for the Sabretooth to exist onto this board. After this round, we're going to click onto the Sabretooth, we're going to see how much damage it's doing, and we're going to talk about whether it's worth it. Alright, so steel balls, they're coming in here. They kind of get stuck on these crawlers here. The Sabretooth is still there clearing out fangs, doing its best. And it's just not enough. We got a level 2 fans actually snuck in and took tower, and with the tower done, we have 2 level 2 Stormcrawlers able to deal the damage. Stormcrawler makes sense, and it makes even more sense on Alex's board because of the way he positioned his units. They're all very aggressively placed, and what that means is that the opponent's units are going to be shooting from a stationary position. All right, advanced offensive tactic is picked, so that adds 30% damage to the mostly to these fans, so which are now mech raged. Replicate onto these crawlers, and now with underground, so that's a little bit scary. If you're not able to get these crawlers before it reach your fans, it will actually overwhelm your fans. It doesn't matter if you have mech rage, so that is slightly concerning. All right, looking at Poise board, he does have a flanking crawler that's already on the side, and it's going to add one more. This one is most definitely going to get to these fans because of both underground and replicate. This one here, though, I'm not sure is able to at least achieve the mark in this round. Additional fans went down. I think one of them is going to reinforce, hopefully, onto this flank here because it's just a little bit weak, unless Movan decided to add a missile, which makes a lot of sense. Sabretooth, still on the board, so I'm clicking on them. This Sabretooth did 2,000 damage total while having the ability to fire a single bullet that does 6 times that, so put that into perspective. This Sabertooth, even though it did a little bit better because it was able to lock onto some of these steel balls, still did less than a single round damage for the entire turn. So in my mind, these are highly inefficient units, and I would definitely get rid of them. And it's not too late to get Mustangs, even at this stage, right? Mustang serves the dual purpose of getting rid of some of these fangs, but also you can simply hit missile interception on the Mustangs to negate the damage from these Stormcallers. So this is an overwhelming round coming in from Movan, right? The Stormcallers are just doing so much damage to these larger units, whilst the Fangs, with Med Rage, with Speed Spec, moving at 14 meters per second. That is absolutely nutty. When you're up against a Fang carry, one thing you always have to watch out for is the eventual arrival of the Fortress. And I think that's going to be the pick from both sides, even though Vulcan is also very, very attractive here. Fortress is the essential meat shield before the Fangs, allowing them to maximize the damage. And in this board, I mean, just looking at this board and ask yourself, who's got the better composition against the opponent's carry Fangs? And the answer is a no-brainer. It's going to be Movans. Not only he's got more Fangs, he's got more tanks, he's got Force and now with Shield, but he also has the necessary tools to break the opponent's Fortress's shield in the form of these two level 2 Stormcallers. So let's see how this, I'm pretty sure this is going to be either the final round or the second last round, because Poi is just kind of digging a hole for himself and just going deeper and deeper. He had the opportunity to win a few rounds with the Mustangs earlier on, but right now, most of his units aren't really contributing to solving the problem. And I'll break it down piece by piece. So on this side, we have a problem of chaff clear. We have 2 level 1 Fangs, which have to clear not just a level 1, level 2, and a level 1 Fangs, but also Fortress over here, right? On the other side, so in the middle here, this fort, the shield got instantly popped, which means now all the fight damage is going to be focused on the forts, and once the 4 forts go down, all these level 2 Fangs are just going to slaughter every single one in the middle. And then on the right-hand side, a beautiful flanking fortress, right, coming in. So looking at the health here, yeah, I think there's going to be one more round, but I think it's just a little too late for our red player. Now, if you're in the red player's position, what would you do? Thank you for watching. If your break isn't over right this minute, you have to check out this video. I'll see you on the next one.
Prepare your tactics. Mechabellum's calling. Deploy your fortress. The battlefield's alive with swarms.